Let's go ahead and get to our next speaker. I'm really excited to introduce Kelly Leightner. She's a dedicated advocate of bank methodology throughout her diverse roles as a daughter, mother, professional, community volunteer. Does it sound like all of us in the room? Kelly's honed her understanding of the vital role communication plays in connecting with others. With experience as a travel agent, nurse, and direct sales professional, she has been firsthand the power of personality types in sales and relationships. Kelly's insights into personality not only transform business interactions, but also enrich personal connections. Please join me in welcoming Kelly Leightner.
Thank you, Colleen. Isn't this amazing, you guys? Is everybody having a great time? She puts on one heck of an event. I want to see everybody lift those pink pom-poms and shake the heck out of them in honor of Colleen. I want to see the room pinked out. All right, guys. Thank you. I guess I should move it forward. Oh, that was backwards. There we go. In my mind, it should have been the other one. All right, so I am Kelly Leightner. Why should you listen to me? Because I said so. I am a coach and trainer, as she said, in the bank methodology, and I really, really wish I had known this stuff years ago. I started doing direct sales. I was a nurse. I was trying to get out of it because I was tired of giving up all my time for dollars. But I couldn't sell anything. Nobody wanted to buy what I was doing. Nobody wanted to join my team. I tried multiple different companies, struggled with all of them. What's wrong with me? Can't be just the companies because I've done multiples. I attended a training, learned this methodology. Oh. So the company I was with at that time was a health company. And I'm talking about science and research, medical journal studies that are published about all of my stuff. All this great things, how the testing works, that we know that it's clean, that it's safe, that it's effective. How many of you just glazed over? Go ahead and raise your hand. You are not going to hurt my feelings. It proves my point. I was speaking the wrong language to the majority of the people I was talking to. Guess I needed to fix that, so I started studying the bank methodology. I did start getting some clients. I did get somebody to join my team, but fell so in love with this that I'm now doing this all the time instead of all the other stuff. So a couple other things about me. We talked about the fact that I'm a trainer and a coach. I'm also a registered nurse. Currently not working. I did leave the field in 2019. Still have all the knowledge. Leader in sales and relationship training. I have volunteered. Some couple of fun facts about my personal life. I've been married for 26 years. I have 2 adult sons. The younger of the 2 just got married on Halloween. So I now also have a daughter-in-law. And they're planning babies as fast as they can possibly make that happen. So I may be a grandma in the next year or so. And the other son serves in the United States Air Force and lives in North Carolina at this point. So both my kids are adults and doing all the adulting and kind of losing a little bit of my identity with that. Others have struggled with that too. It becomes interesting. You get so excited that they're getting out on their own and you start to get your life back, but you're like, who am I? So this kind of helps me also figure out who I am. All right, so what I wanted to ask everybody, if you're not able to get that to scan on your phone, you also on the tables, there's the QR codes. It's to crack your bank code. And you'll get a nice little personality report when you fill out all the information. Because I'm going to ask questions about that. So I'll give you a moment. I probably should have done that and then also introduce myself while you guys were handling all of it. And some of you have done this for me for other things. Don't do it again. You don't need to. It should be the same unless you think you've changed something in your life enough. Sometimes if we're in stress, we show up very differently than when we're in our normal space. And I've met people who thought their primary code was their stress code because they had been stuck in stress for so long. I don't know what that was, but that sounded pretty good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and kind of keep things moving a little bit. Oh, actually, I wanted to ask, out of those of you who have completed or moved things, and I probably should have explained how to do that a little bit better. You want to get in there and you want to move the cards for the one that's most like you to the front down to least like you. That helps me get to know you better and can save us some time. And in that talk, that spoke to all 4 of those personality types. It can be as simple as that to cover all 4. And also while you're doing that, we're going to talk about this quote. Maya Angelou said, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." So in that thought, I'm going to come back to that in just a second. How many of you in here are in sales? Exactly. Everybody's in sales. For those of you who didn't raise your hand, let me ask, do you have kids? Because trust me, with kids, it's always sales. You're selling them on doing their homework, eating their vegetables, doing their chores. If you have a partner or a spouse, you're also in sales. I was wanting a car. My husband wasn't keen on that idea at that time. This was back when everything was starting to go crazy with the Ukraine. There was an electric car I wasn't interested in. He was stuck in his stress code. He was all worried about money in that moment. And I looked at him and said, okay, but what happens if there's no gasoline? You're not going anywhere with your big old pickup truck that takes diesel and makes 8 miles to the gallon. What are you going to do? He goes, I hate it when you do that. But I knew where he was stuck, and I knew which personality type I needed to tap on to get him to see my point of view. It's not about manipulation. In that moment, it definitely was for me because I knew what to do to get my way. But as you learn these personality types, and you'll see it as I talk about it, you can make people feel comfortable with you, that you understand them. Because don't we all want to be understood when we're trying to buy something? How many of you have had that salesperson that just gave you the creepy crawlies? Some of them, no matter what they do, they're going to give everybody creepy crawlies. But a lot of times, it's the wrong personality match. They're speaking to things that you could have cared less about. What about that salesperson that you were so comfortable? You're like, they totally get me. Oh my gosh, they're amazing. You sent your friend there and your friend's like, no. Same thing, personality mismatches. And if they would know, the salesperson would know the difference in the personalities, they can meet them where it's most important. Now, personality science, this has been around forever. This has been around since 400 BC. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, used to use personalities to treat his patients. We've all heard of like DISC and Myers-Briggs, and pretty much everybody in here, has anybody in here never taken a personality test? Okay, I didn't think so. It's usually everybody. We've done something. They're fun. They tell us all about us, right? We get to know everything about us. The difference between the bank methodology and all the other ones out there is, one, they're all based in psychology. Don't hate me when I say this. Ours is based in biology, B-U-Y-ology, the art and science of buying behavior. Now, I didn't make that up. The woman who created the methodology, that is one of her things she loves to say. And I do like it. It makes sense because it's about the other person. We're cracking their personality type so we can make sure we're meeting what it is they need, not what we need. That health food product I talked about, that was the information I needed to make that decision. I thought everybody needed that same information. I wasn't making them feel good. I was probably making them feel stupid. I get way too technical because knowledge is one of my strong ones. So we're going to start talking about those 4 personality types in a little bit of detail. I don't have time to go into all of it. With each personality type, we use a color, we use a letter, and we use a metaphor of a box. And forgive me every time I look at the slides, I have anchors for different images in those slides to remind me of what to say. So I look at it and make sure I am still saying what I wanted to say. So blueprint, we use the color blue. Hello, 1, it's in the name. 2, think of an architectural blueprint. There's very specific information on there. You got to start with the foundation, the walls, then the roof. Can you imagine trying to put that roof on and no walls? Can't do it that way. And that's important for the blueprint because they like systems, structure, process, procedure. Efficiency, bitch, where are you? Was your blue the first one? I figured as soon as you started talking, you were talking about systems and this, that, and the other. I'm like, that woman is definitely a blueprint without a doubt. I can communicate with her very easily as long as we're not talking finances because that's a little past my pay grade because I'm not great with those. But she and I probably could have great conversations and I could probably meet her where she needs because that's natural for me because blueprint is my first. Now that box, blueprints, we're inside the box. We're comfortable there. We know how far we can go, how high we can go, how low we can go, and how fast we can do it. That cat meme that's out there, if it fits, I sits. This is the blueprint. As long as that box is comfortable, that's where we're staying. That's the other thing. Blueprints don't like change. It indicates risk. And everything a blueprint does is to avoid risk. They're also the rule followers. Think children. That child that is the horrible tattletale that you're just like, stop telling on everybody. Likely they're a blueprint. They like the rules, and they like to enforce them on everybody else. My son in the Air Force, he's a blueprint. He does not like to follow the rules. He does know what they are, and he likes to enforce them on everybody else, whether he follows them or not. So our action personality type, we're going to bring that energy up, the actions. We use the color. Oh, I can tell we got some actions in the room. I love it. I forgot to ask, by the way, who all was blueprint first? Okay, I kind of expected that, guys. I love it that you love your blueprint. Who here was action? Again, kind of what I expected for the room. Nurturing, the yellow card. I expected that to be a high one as well. You know, we're a group of women. We tend to be very nurturing. It may not be our primary value. And then who here was the knowledge, the green card? All right. Ladies, I love it, because that one's my second, and they're like right next to each other. Oh, and when you get that combination of the BK, we lovingly call those buzzkills. I do say lovingly, and if you ask my sisters, they will very much tell you I'm a buzzkill, because they're not blueprint and they're not knowledge. And it's because we tend to be in our heads. So when everybody else is having fun, we're overanalyzing everything and trying to follow the rules. But for the action, we're going to bring that energy up. We use the color red. They drink Red Bull for breakfast. They love red carpet VIP treatment. And that's because they value things like freedom, fun, flexibility, and winning. Yes. I love it. All my action people are just so excited right now. So in your sales process with an action, do not give them too much detail. Yes. They get bored. They get bored. Miss Heather Ferrari over here, she came up with the idea when I was telling her group the other week about it. She goes, oh, do it in 5 sentences or less. And she was talking to somebody later, and she counted on her finger her 5 sentences to make sure she stayed there. I'm like, that's a great framework to work on. I love that. I was trying to think where else I was going with that. The box? These guys, there's no box. What box? I blew up the box. I'm not following rules, damn it. Not happening. Actions, do you follow the rules? Miss Ashley Butler over there started to go, yes, and she'll, wait a minute, no, that's not what I meant. Actions, rules are made to be broken. Blueprints, rules are made to be followed. See? All right, on that note, these are opposite personality types. They tend to marry each other. I take it your husband's a blueprint. All right. So they tend to attract, think Jerry Maguire, you complete me, right? But then over time, what attracted you, because it's the opposite value of you, you start having struggles and fight a lot. My first two and my husband's first two are opposites. 26 years. We're still there. We're making it. He's also trained in this too, so he knows it. And he makes probably a heck of a lot more concessions than I do. Now, can you see in a sales process where a blueprint and action are going to have problems? If a blueprint's selling to an action, blueprints tend to be very orderly. You want to take you through every little step. And the action's going, I'm going to poke my balls out. If the action is selling to a blueprint, the action's just like, wah, and way out there, and that blueprint's going, oh my goodness, no. Blueprint's going, I need more detail. That 5 sentences, that's not enough. I need more information. The action's like, nah, make a decision. Blueprints need the information to feel confident in a buying decision. Action, if it sounds good, they're doing it. And sometimes it doesn't matter what the cost is. So my friend Michelle is also a trainer in the bank methodology. For an action, there was something she wanted to buy. She told the person, send me the link to buy it. Okay, well, that person sent her like a 3-page long email with lots of information and lots of links and things like that. Pretty much, somebody said delete. I'm like, yep, she did not buy. She also has another, I love sharing her stories. She's got so many great ones. Another one of her stories is a friend of hers was buying a rainbow vacuum. I don't know if you guys know what that is. I hadn't heard of it till she said it. And her friend goes, if I get several other people to watch the presentation, whether they buy or not, I get a discount. So Michelle, to help her friend, watched. The lady came. She taught her the bank methodology, taught her exactly how to sell to her. Michelle bought a $3,000 vacuum that she's never going to use. She has a housekeeper. She's like, why did I buy this? They have their own stuff that they bring. That's an action for you. If it sounds good and they're in the moment, they buy it. Don't overload the action with too much details. And I forgot, guys, I have these sitting here. You know, I meant to wear my little glasses. So here I am, a blueprint talking to an action. I need to take my blueprint glasses off. Because as you noticed, I started action very high energy. But I've kind of brought it down because it's not natural for me to be there. But I know if I'm working with an action, I got to get all excited, energized before I go see them so I can keep that energy level up. I can see Miss Ann over there. I know she's definitely an action just based on appearance and everything I've seen out of her. And yes, very much high energy. And if you're going to try and sell her something, I guarantee you she's not going to sit there and let you bore her to death. Well, blueprints, and I don't ever take it personally. You'll hear me ask questions. Guys, don't ever think you're going to hurt my feelings. It's personality. Still not got it right. It's not personal, it's personality. I don't know why I'm stumbling over that. I say it all the time. Then we've got our nurturing personality type. Nurturers. We use the color yellow. They're warm as the sun, sweet as honey. I don't have all my hands, but they're a heart of gold. That box, they're not inside the box. They didn't blow it up. They recycle or repurpose that box. You know, if they baked a pie, they're going to put that pie in a box and bring it to you. And that's because they value things like relationships. In fact, in a sales process with a nurturing, you don't want them to ever feel like you're just in it for the dollar. They want to know that you're invested in them, that you care about them. Because relationship currency is what they're all about. And they're not interested in buying from you necessarily, but they like you, they like everything about what's going on. They're going to share you with all of their friends. So don't ever count a nurturing completely out if they didn't buy from you. They're still going to be part of your tribe if they felt connected to you. Relationships, authenticity, community are 3 of the big traits for the nurturing. So in a sales process or when you're working with them, some of you are coaches. Right there, you're probably going to connect with them. Most coaches are nurturing first. Most of them, not always. Because again, it's that connection, it's that community. Now we're going to talk about the knowledge. A lot of times I'll say, try and think of Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, for those of you that have watched that. Most definitely a knowledge. Blueprint is probably second for him because he's a big rule follower. He writes up legal documents all the time. Knowledge is, we use the color green. If you think of that Excel spreadsheet, that logo is green. And Excel spreadsheets are full of data. Knowledge people eat data for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They do. They need a lot of information before they make a buying decision. How long do you think it takes a knowledge to make a final decision? I'll give you a hint. It starts with a 4. Who said that? That's exactly it. Forever. It can take them forever because they don't want to ever be wrong in a decision. They need lots of information before they come to that decision. That box, they're not inside the box. They didn't blow it up. They're not recycling it. They engineered it, or they made it new and improved. They redesigned it. And sometimes, because of that, they can also be green with envy. You know, they designed that box. They're the brilliance behind the products, but it's that salesperson, that action that's out there getting all the accolades and all the attention. Now, knowledge people, they value learning, intelligence, logic, self-mastery. So these guys in a sales process, Start with, do you have any questions before we get started? If you think they may have already been searching around about stuff. Because you want to answer their questions first, and you're going to kind of know how much information they already know. And if they ask you a question you don't know an answer to, don't ever, ever make it up. Absolutely not. You will lose credibility with them if you're wrong. Best thing you can do is go, you know, that is an awesome question. Nobody's ever asked me that one before. That must mean you're extremely smart, because, you know, tell them they're smart. They like to hear it most of the time. And let them know you will find out the answer, or you will get them the expert. Kind of an example on that one, the trainer who brought me into this, she's not part of the company anymore, but she wanted to get a particular vehicle, and her husband's, it was an SUV, and her husband goes, that's not going to pull our camp trailer. She's like, yes, it will. They told me it will. He goes, he's an engineer. He goes, I promise you it won't. She talked to the dealership. She goes, when I bring my husband in, I need your highest level mechanic, you know, the biggest expert you can get in here. Again, like I said, her husband's an engineer. He understands this stuff. Once he sat down and talked with that expert, she had the car. So when I talked about my car, it was her page. I took a page from her book and worked with my husband on one that I wanted. So knowledges, again, can be very long in the process. They're great people, guys. Don't get frustrated with them. It just may take you a lot longer to get into that final yes with them. Provide them any information they're asking for. If you know you're meeting with them ahead of time, you can try and send them a bunch of information first, because they'll pour over it, and then they'll have some of their, Miss Ashley over there is going, yep, definitely. Love it. Now, the nurturing and the knowledge. Opposite personalities. Marry each other. Nurturing, one of the things I didn't talk about is they're very emotional. And I don't say that as in like a negative emotion, but they're very much in tune with their emotions. Knowledges are not. They tend to pretend emotions don't even exist if they can help it. Nurturing love to be hugged. Knowledge, not so much. You definitely want to ask a knowledge before you hug them or touch them. Some of them are very much, don't touch me at all. So another one of our trainers, she's a nurturing, her husband is a knowledge. And she's also Hawaiian, which is very, very nurturing. And everybody hugs everybody. Everybody is cousin, whether they're truly related or not. And he said to her one day, can you take me somewhere where I'm not going to get hugged all the time? I'm tired of hugging everybody. So they have agreements. He also was not somebody who wanted to hold hands in public. So they've agreed. They can touch pinkies while they're walking together in public. You know, sometimes it is a compromise, guys. It's never going to be completely perfect. He even put on his phone a reminder to tell her that he loves her. Not that he doesn't, but she wants to hear it more than he says it naturally. And she found that out by accident one day. His phone was going off. She picked it up and looked at it because I think he was in the bathroom. And she saw the notification said, tell Mamie I love her. So she sat it down, and he came out, and she goes, your phone was going off. So he looked at it, set it down, did something for a moment, and came back and told her he loved her. So they do have emotions. They just don't like to show them very often if they can help it. Oops. So your bank code, like I said, you guys have done this. There's 24 different combinations of the bank code. All right? And when you're working with somebody, you may be asking, okay, this is great information, Kelly. How do I find out who it is I'm talking to? There's a few ways to do it. They'll usually tell you if you ask them, like I did with you guys. Everybody that filled that out just told me what their personality was. So we have physical cards you can use. We also have the online version that you guys just did. We have cool technology tools that help with this. There's a LinkedIn Chrome extension, so people who are active on LinkedIn, you can use that for prospecting. It will crack the code of the profile. It can be a game changer. Caveats to keep in mind with that is sometimes the person didn't write their own stuff. That sometimes happens. AI, absolutely. Yeah, so much AI going on. We've got a cool AI tool as well. We call him Kai. So it will write in the bank code that you are asking for. So if you get very active in this, it is awesome. I do it all the time. I love my little Kai. He saves me a lot of headache. And then we have something that cracks the code of whatever you're doing. So say you get an email from somebody and you're like, okay, well, how do I respond to this? You just copy and paste it in there, crack it. It'll tell you what code they're writing in at that moment. It may not even be their natural code in that moment because they may be in stress or something else is going on, and you want to respond to them in the code that they gave you because you may need to de-escalate something that's going on that you're not even aware of. Oops, did not mean to go. All right, what is going on here? Okay, bank code, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so, you know, the holidays are coming up. Who here has a relative that you're just like, ugh, I can't stand them? This helps in your personal relationships, remember? So I do have a 2-day training coming up on November 20th and 21st. I can get you set to handle that personality type so they don't stress you out so much and you can remember, oh yeah, that's personal, and now I know why that's triggering me. There are 2 half days on Zoom. We have a lot of fun doing these. When corporate does this, it's usually $19.97. Our group usually does it for $4.97, and today, because we're here at this event, and because Colleen also loves bank so much, I'm going to do a $100 discount, so it'll take it down to $3.97, and we can do 14 days of our software for $1, and then it rolls over after that 14 days to $99 a month if it doesn't get canceled. We're also doing it on January 9th and 10th, so if you guys, I know there were a lot of offers being made around the same time, so if the November one doesn't work, we do have January. But remember, the November will help your holidays be much happier. And reasons why, and these are not showing up as well as they should, but you know, people who've taken bank said this saved their marriage. You know, once you started understanding your husband's not making you crazy just to make you crazy, it's because you got a personality mismatch in that moment. Being a better partner, help me be a better mom. You know, anybody have a child that you just want to wring their neck all the time? Yeah, well, my oldest was too, but he claims he's a blueprint first, and I'm not so sure on that, but sometimes the same personality type can do that too. We're both very, very stubborn. And we've had it come back. We know of 2 kids in particular that it has saved them from committing suicide. Imagine being that child in a home where everybody else is. In these cases, the kids were both knowledges. One of them, I believe his entire family was action. And so the knowledge has all this information that he wants to share. The action people aren't happy about it. So imagine feeling so unhappy, uncomfortable in your own home. This is one of the reasons I do it. I like helping people with improving their businesses, but the ripple effect that can happen from that is changing personal lives as well. And I'm going to share this one last thing because usually I get really teary when I talk about that. I don't know how I didn't this time. I'm glad, because it's sometimes hard to talk and be teary at the same time. I was also a child who tried to commit suicide. I did it twice. Once right before I started my senior year, and once towards the end of my senior year. Almost missed my graduation because I was in the hospital. But I'm not 100% positive that it was a personality mismatch going on. There was a lot that was happening at that time. But looking back, my step family that I lived with, the majority of them were actions. Mean actions at that. And, as I said, I'm a buzzkill of the BK, so in my head. So there was some of that going on within my friends and even my boyfriend at the time. I look back on it, I'm like, I think my boyfriend was in action knowledge, more action than anything. And the AK combination, action knowledge, we do call them AK-47s. Because they make fast decisions with the knowledge right behind it. So they can be sharp and quick-witted. So it's not a bad thing if they're an AK-47, as long as they're not, mowing you over, of course. Again, it's just understanding the personality type. All right, so on your tables as well, on that sheet that has the QR codes, both these QR codes are on there too. So again, I would love to have you guys join us on November 20th or 21st or January 9th and 10th. If those days don't work, stay in touch with me and I can make sure you guys know of other upcoming classes. I also have on that sheet, and I know Isabel did this already. Got your attention, you were doing something else. Her head whipped around so fast when she heard her name. There is a 15-minute social media audit, and that is a free class. That's a free assessment. What I'll do is take one of your social medias or website, and we'll go through for about 15 minutes and see what clients you're attracting. Have you wondered why all of a sudden your clients are just like, you're like, what is going on? Where are these, I'm going to say this lovingly, where are these weirdos coming from? Why are these people annoying me so much? It might be you're attracting your opposite personality type through your marketing. And it's a fun thing. And it gives me a chance to connect with you as well and talk about what your personality report said. So we'll talk a little about that and then also what your social media has. All right, guys. It's not personal, it's personality. Learning this, we can help you take it to the bank. And then, Colleen, is there time for a couple questions?
Sure, yeah.
Is there any questions? Yes, ma'am.
More than one of those, right? They're a combination.
Yes, yes. And the order makes a difference as well. I just don't have, it's a little deeper training for that. Yes, we are all of them. So, quick answer on that is the first one is how you show up. The second one influences your first one. Your third one is what's the stress code. And the fourth one is what turns you off. And that's why it's so important to know who it is you're talking to before you start talking to them so you can avoid that personality trigger for them. So for me, you go back to, mine is BK and A. So my action is last. You come at me with a lot of action stuff, I can handle it now because I know better. But in the past, if it was too action, I'd be like, nope, I'm done. I'm out of here. It's a great question. Anybody else? Oh, yeah. Thank you. That brought me back to something I didn't go back to. When I was giving instructions on how to crack your code, it speaks to all four so that you get less resistance from people. If you get a lot of resistance on trying to get a code crack, they're likely a blueprint or a knowledge because they can both be very skeptical. And it may give you a clue. As for your question is, can you tell by just talking to them and looking at them? Yes and no. So the way I'm dressed today, not a blueprint outfit at all. So you would not be able to guess my primary code based on what I'm wearing today. But we do have a class where we do teach you a lot of different things to start guessing if that's what they are. And then as you get good at it, you can make that assumption. You just start talking to them, asking targeted questions, and you can start kind of figuring out who they might be. But yeah, my husband and I watch TV all the time and start trying to guess personality types, especially the reality TV shows of couples, you know, like Married at First Sight, Love is Blind, that's another one. They're almost all actions, though. Almost all of them. They're almost all actions. I mean, you're getting on TV and putting your life out there for everybody, so they're almost all actions. Now, Love is Blind, they actually do mix them up a bit, and I swear they're doing these personality tests on purpose because a couple times they are definitely complete opposites. One couple with them, I'm surprised they're still married, but they are. They're a blueprint action couple. Very strong, both of them in their personality type. I'm like, they're never going to last. I've seen them on multiple reunion shows. They're still together. I'm just shocked. I'm like, okay, I don't know how that's working. And they were very volatile together. Miss Sue, you had your hand up.
I just wanted to make a comment that people in your orbit can learn this by osmosis because my brother refuses to learn this methodology. He is nowhere in sight when I give or do a training, and we will sit and watch TV, and he will pick out the personality codes of the people on TV.
Oh my gosh, Sue, I haven't heard that one before. That is awesome. So Sue is also trained in the bank methodology, so that's why she says it's through osmosis, because she does it. He picks up on what she's doing. That's cool, especially knowing how stubborn your brother is.
He's a K.
He's a high K as well. Very knowledge, learning, intelligence, logic.
No emotion.
Yeah, and no emotion. All right, so I am out of time. Thank you, guys. I hope to meet with you all on Zoom soon.
All right, let's give Kelly Leightner a round of applause.